right there.
I don't read Hebrew.
That's okay.
Okay, thanks.
That's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, very good.
I love it. So Shabbat Shalom. It's good to see you. Hello. So this is very much a Shehechianu moment, right? How are you hearing me? Okay. Good.
Can you hear
good.
me okay?
And you can hear the cantor.
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Right?
Okay.
So I'm sorry that we have the air conditioner, but this is a very Shehechianu moment because this is our first live stream outdoor service. Right. And the camera's over there and the microphones are here and we got everything set up and we were testing all day today and it sounds great. Right? You can hear, right, Raina? The microphones are so much better, the audio is so much better, and when the train pulls into the station, everybody will be able to hear it.
Hine ma tovu manayim, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, Shabbat achim gam yachad.
Let's continue. Tell you what page?
Page 2.
I think it's actually page 2, yeah. With the lighting of the candles, and Meryl, if you would lead us in that and try to keep the flame lit. Woo!
All right, if my hat flies away, someone has to catch it.
Yeah.
okay?
I'm not getting it.
Would you like a little assistance?
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody. A little bit of a tornado went here. Oh, hurricane. Sorry. Okay.
I will actually
Light it.
I got things.
Let's pretend.
No, I don't pretend. I go ahead.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Beautiful.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Please join with me on the bottom of page 2. Blessed is the source of life, the substance of all being, in whose creative power fashions the fruit of the vine. Blessed is the source of life, the fountain of all being, by whose power we plumb the depths of the universe and uncover the mitzvot of holiness. In love, I have taken upon myself the challenge of Shabbat as a reminder of the purpose of creation. In peace, I take upon myself the sanctity of Shabbat as a catalyst for freedom and unity. Blessed is the source of life, whose creative power hallows the Shabbat.
Baruch atah Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kosho v'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha ve'ahava v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat lechayim.
We will welcome the Shabbat bride, and I'm sure the Shabbat bride will get here. She will undoubtedly blow in. It hasn't been this windy in quite some time, has it? Right? But you know what? Better a little bissel of wind when it's a little cool on a hot day than rain. Right? But we'll welcome the Shabbat bride with the singing of Lecha Dodi. And the words are found on page 3, and then watch the cantor, and she will let us know when to rise and face the Shabbat bride.
Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shimu tiferet v'lichilav Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcham ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikadem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'orech umi ori, uri, uri, shir dabiri, kevod Adonai alai nikra. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalala 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi any way you wish as we welcome the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha uv'sola toch emunei am segula boi chalav lecha dodi likrat kala yalanai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yalanai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. Becha yechon uvyomechon uv'chayei techal beit Yisrael. Bagala bagala uvizman karivim eru.
Amen.
Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha berichu le'ela min kal bechata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma Vayimeru. Amen.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 yai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 yai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai ha'mevorach. Baruch
Adonai Amevorach
le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai ha'mevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. I'll let you in on a little secret about how one should pray the sunset prayer. It's a juicy bit of praying like strolling on the grass. Nobody's chasing you, nobody hurries you. You walk toward your Creator with gifts in pure, empty hands. The words are golden, their meaning is transparent. It's as though you're saying them for the first time. If you don't catch on that you should feel a little elevated, you're not praying the sunset prayer. The tune is sheer simplicity. You're just lending a helping hand to the sinking day. It's a heavy responsibility. You have created day and you slip it into the archive of life, where all our lived out days are lying together. The day is departing with a quiet kiss. It lies open at your feet while you stand saying the blessings. You can't create anything yourself, but you can lead the day to its end and see clearly the smile of its going down. See how whole it all is, not diminished for a second. How you age with the days that keep dawning. How you bring your lived out day as a gift to eternity.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
Praised are you, O God, who loves his people Israel, as we rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem, Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Please join me on the top of page 11. Adonai of the outstretched arm, who brought our ancestors out of confinement in Egypt, release all those bodily confined for the pursuit of justice. Release us from the prisons and the calluses we have constructed around our hearts. Release our hands from the shackles we have placed on them and guide them to their work. Release our minds from the deceptions in which they are imprisoned. Remove exhaustion from our eyelids and our bodies. Release our spirits from terror and fear. Renew us that we may be renewed. Set us on a journey to the land we are to enter. You want it B minor?
Yes.
May we live each day with fullness of mind, attending to life and all its places before me. Thus will we live without hesitation, and only then can we lie down in peace, having given our lives its all. Only then can we rise in anticipation of a new day, knowing we have so much more to give. Let mercy refine our actions and justice shield us from enemies. Let our lives be a vehicle for grace and mercy, bringing peace and comfort to all in need. May the source of life spread a talit of peace over me, over Israel, over all of us, over Jerusalem, and over the entire world. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. God, help us to make this new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. We reach toward the one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam yalai yalalai 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 Bini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam yalai yalalai 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 ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz yalai yalalai 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 Vayom hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbat vayinafash yalai yalalai yalalai yalalai
Please join me on page 14 as we prepare ourselves for the Amidah. When Israel prays, we do not pray all at once. Rather, each congregant prays by himself or herself, first one and then the other. After all the congregations furnish all their prayers, the angel who oversees prayer takes all the prayers that were said in all the synagogues and makes them into a crown and places them on the head of the Holy One.
Adonai sifata tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha.
Please rise.
Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot U'mei Gula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim. Umekayem emunato lishenei afar micha mocha baal gevurot umidom melach melech memit umechaya umatmiach Yeshua v'neman ata lahachayot hakol baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol.
You may be seated if you wish. Holy are you, creator of holiness. May all beings greet you as holy each day. Holy am I, created in the image of holiness, that I might greet each being as holy each day. Holy are all beings created in the image of holiness, that they might greet me as holy each day. And holy is this world, created as the home of holiness, that all beings might greet each day. Do not think that our words of prayer, as you say them, go up to God. It is not the words themselves that ascend. It is rather the burning desire of your heart that rises like smoke toward heaven. If your prayer consists only of words and letters and does not contain your heart's desire, how can it rise to God? Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael utefilatam bi'ahava tekabel uvratzon uvtehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Accept, our God, the prayers of your people Israel and receive them willingly in love, and let their prayers always be sincere, and may you always accept the prayers of your people Israel. And as we move to the Hoda'ah, we get to the wonderful part of the service where we pause, we step back from the, I shouldn't say formality of the service, because I don't know that I've ever done a formal service in my life, but the structure of the service, and we share what we are grateful for. Anybody? Reina. Yes, we saw that Bobby was accepted to medical school. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. And I also saw that Andrew Dresner passed his MCATs. So he's going to go to medical school. Okay? And the closest I'll get to medical school is I'm going to go see my doctor in a week. I don't know. Mazel tov, it's really great. Anybody else? Great. Ooh, windy. Anybody else grateful for anything? No. Wendy.
That you're able to have night or outside services, and that it's not
Yeah. Yeah. I was getting more and more excited about what it was going to be. But now I whoever lit the candles, Meryl, they blew out. Okay, so there are birthday candles that don't blow out. You blow them out and then they. Why doesn't somebody invent a Shabbat candle, an outdoor Shabbat candle that does that? I just gave the idea away to somebody on live stream, and they're sending the patent in right now. I want a cut. Oh God, make my life one of living with attention that leads me to thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the response I have to the great debt I accrue with each breath I take. Attending to the everyday miracles of ordinary living, I am aware of the interconnectedness of all beings. I cannot be without you, you cannot be without that, and cannot be without each, and each cannot be without every. Thanksgiving is not for anything, it's for everything. May each of us cultivate the attention that allows the thanks that is life to inform the dance that is living.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki atah melech adon, lecha hashalom. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. B'tov be'enecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. B'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
We pray for those who are ill, and this evening we pray for the full healing of Mark Heller. And are there any other names that you'd like, people that you are praying for that are ill, that you'd like to mention? Please join with the cantor, and I guess we do this in C.
Yes. Mi sheberach avoteinu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Let those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. When I was in rabbi school, they never taught us what happens when all of your papers fly away. So let's take a moment for our own personal and silent meditation. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go pick up the yahrzeit list. Plan for anything like that.
Which is B minor.
Which is B minor?
Oh, say shalom bimrama. Say shalom aleinu. Ve'al Yisrael. Ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
So I want to tell you a funny story. I was, well, it's kind of a funny story. I was cleaning up my office today. It was my biannual cleanup. And there was a newspaper clipping behind a whole bunch of books, and it was the obituary of Whitney Houston. Huh? Yeah. So she died in 2000 and when did she die? 2015, I think, right? And I said, why on earth would I have the obituary for Whitney Houston? I mean, she was a wonderful singer and all that. And then I looked on the other side, and it was the obituary for Gunther Plaut. Now, who's Gunther Plaut? Gunther Plaut was the rabbi I grew up with. And I was thinking of Gunther, Rabbi Plaut. No one would ever call him Gunther, I assure you. And I was reading it, and he was probably the most eminent rabbi in Canada at the time. He died the same day as Whitney Houston, apparently, and he was 99 years old. But as I was looking at, as I was reading it, the obituary, I was also thinking about the Torah portion and how the Torah portion that I'm going to tie into Rabbi Plaut's obituary is kind of significant. And I'm really glad that two of my Torah students are here, because you guys are going to get the credit for this brilliant idea that I didn't think of. In the Torah portion, Moses is married to a woman who we are told is a Cushite. We don't really know what that means, But the interpreters have said that it was if somebody of very dark skin, okay, probably African of some continental Africa, we don't know. But that's the way the rabbis interpreted it. And Miriam says to, right, exactly, Barbara. Miriam goes up to Moses, and what does she say? Do you remember? That's right, exactly. She criticizes him. She says to him, what is she doing here? What is she doing here? She's not even one of us. She doesn't know who we are. You found her somewhere. She doesn't even say where Moses met her. And you married her. And she doesn't even belong to the people of Israel. She doesn't belong in our congregation. And Moses is really not happy, okay, for a variety of reasons. But one of the reasons that my class interpreted is that, he pushed her out, or Miriam tried to push her out of the community. And the punishment was really interesting, because the punishment was God's basically saying to Miriam, oh, you only like white skin? Oh, here, I'm going to turn your skin white. She had leprosy for 7 days. And he turned her skin totally white. Be careful what you wish for, you might get it. But the punishment was really instructive, because what she wanted for Moses' wife happened to her. She experienced what it was to get kicked out of the camp for a short time, but what it felt like to be excluded. So what does this have to do with Rabbi Plaut? I'm going to tell you what it has to. I'm going to tell you what it has to do with Rabbi. You're saying, "Hey, where's this going? Where is this going?" So I'm going to tell you where it's going with Rabbi Plaut. When I was growing up in Toronto, we never, and this has nothing to do with Rabbi Plaut per se, but at Holy Blossom Temple, we never saw people who converted to Judaism. Never. We didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, we should have, but we didn't. We never saw Asian Jews. We never saw queer Jews. We never saw LGBTQ Jews. Well, we didn't know if they were LGBT at that time, right? We never saw people who were white middle class, who were other than white and middle class. And I remember one day sitting in services, and my mother of blessed memory, and you'll appreciate this, Meryl, my mother of blessed memory said, "Hey, look at them." I said, "Who are they?" Because, when you're at shul on Rosh Hashanah, you got to talk about everybody else, right? She said, "Those are," I don't remember what their names were. And I said, "So what's about?" They said, they don't even look Jewish. I said, "I don't even know what that means," right? Right, exactly. But I know what my mother meant, because actually they were a family who had converted to Judaism sometime before. Okay, but what was interesting is that the bias, the internal bias, never disappeared from that generation. They will use the word goyisha, right? Which in and of itself is, it's a kind of a not so great word, but it's not so bad. You know what the worst word is? The worst word in Hebrew? A shiksa. It is the most terrible word. But people use that word. Tell me I'm wrong. People use that word. Oh, she's a shiksa. Right. Somebody has it on their license plate? Oy. Okay. Well, all right. But it's really not a very nice word. But because what happens is that we put these people in these categories, and we pass on that bias to a next generation. So when we hear about people, I got to get away from my speaker. When we hear about people of color in our congregation, when we hear about gay Jews or trans Jews or Jews of color or interfaith families. The language, the medium we use is the message. And if we use the words that Miriam uses, she's not one of us. Be careful what you wish for, you're going to get it. Because when Miriam wanted her kicked out of the camp, whereas Miriam herself got kicked out of the camp. And who are we to kick anybody out of our congregation, to kick anybody out of the camp? So they don't have the same level of education, or they don't have the same background, or they don't have the same skin color. Ours is a congregation, and needs to remain a congregation, which is open. Because if we expel people psychologically, emotionally, or spiritually from our congregation, if we do that, we're the ones who are going to be on the outside. This is especially true with interfaith families, where we know that some 70% of Americans who are not Orthodox marry non-Jews. Okay? And we have to bring them in under our Sukkot Shalom, and to say you are part of our congregation, because if you're invested in raising a Jewish family and having a Jewish home, even if you yourself are not Jewish, we're okay with that. And we are. I would be interested, and it's just a fantasy, if Rabbi Plout were sitting here right now and what he would think. I would wonder, what does the previous generation think? But we do not have to do what the previous generation did, or use even the same language. We listen to them, we learn from them, but we also have to chart our own path. And our own path at this congregation and at all congregations is that we can come out on a Friday night, we can enjoy Shabbat together with shorts and t-shirts with skinny legs. And we can do that, and we're not, Wendy's looking at her legs. And we can, and Marty, and we can do that. And we can say, regardless of what you look like, regardless of your status, you are part of our community. This was Miriam's mistake. Miriam learned from the mistake. And we should learn from what Moses said when Miriam got leprosy. He said, El na rafan Allah. Yes, she insulted me, but heal her anyways. So when somebody comes to us and they ask for forgiveness, can we participate? Our answer ought to be what Moses said. Yes, 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 come on in. Shabbat Shalom. Skinny legs. So, you know what, Elenu, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's please rise for the Elenu. And I'm not sure what page it is, because I think
23.
my book got,
Go away.
I think my book got, oh, here it is. Did you say 23?
Yes.
Page 23.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit k'dilal yoser b'rishit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Before we do the Kaddish and tone the service down a bit, is anybody celebrating a birthday this month? 6 months?
Next month.
Oh, next month. What is it, Raina? Oh, that's next month.
You gotta come back.
And you have to come back. Anybody? Nobody? Okay. Well, to all of our people who are celebrating a birthday in June, happy birthday. Paul, didn't you have a birthday? It was in March. Okay, we gave you a pencil, right? We did. Okay, good. We'll do. I guess next month we'll also have.
Try again.
We'll try again. So if you're a July birthday, you should join us. When we do it, and I don't know when it is, but we'll advertise it, right? So we pause for a moment as we remember those who have died. This yard site this weekend, this week, we remember Davis Cantor, my grandfather, Abraham Cohen, Bertrand Dorman, Max Futuronsky, Lillian Goldman, Celia Goodman, Marion Gruber, Ira Haupt, Joel Katz, Elizabeth Katsky, Maurice Leffert, Lois Levy, Joseph Mazel, Frieda Niederhofer, Marion Schultz, Ella Schwab, Paul Spector, Louise Stammelman, Clara Strauss, Lorraine Weinstein, Milt Zimmett, and Frederick Zucker, and in the past Shiva, the past 7 days, Ken Moser, the brother of Fran Cohen. Yes, and do you have a name as well?
Joyce Fish, we lost her today.
Joyce Fish?
Yeah, I mentioned her name.
Yeah.
And in Rail Beach. Just a dear friend, in fact, we're very dear friend.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Joyce Fish? Please join with me in the Kaddish on page 25. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabba v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chal beit Yisrael b'gala u'v'zman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach le'olam u'lalmei al-maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitaleh l'shemei d'kudusha Le'ela min kal berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata damiran bi'alama v'imeru Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Ose shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and we say, Amen. You may be seated.
Say shalom bimromav, say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen.
Wendy, do you have some announcements?
Let's go down.
You don't even need to do that anymore.
Oh, nice. Shabbat Shalom and welcome to our beautiful patio. This is our first night back with outdoor services, and it couldn't be a nicer night. So we had a very, very successful beach service and barbecue last week. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of people, and we look forward to carrying on that tradition in the future. I'll try not to look like Cousin It now from you know who.
Right.
Okay. And we're going to be here every Friday night at 6:30, unless the weather, it's raining or it's super, super hot. Then we'll be inside in the pre-function area. Upcoming events, we have Jewish Heritage Night at the Blue Claws game in August, and everybody can come. There is information in Elijah on that, as there will be in the future. And Rabbi, your sermon was very inspirational tonight. I could tell you so many, well, I probably have, so many stories about growing up in the synagogue that I grew up in. And Marnie, thank you so much for leading our song. It was absolutely wonderful. And we'll see you next week. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. And you mentioned the Jewish Heritage Night at the Blue Claws. So I think you can actually sign up for it. There's a link on the temple website. I think you can sign up for it. So please do. It's only $10, and I think you get a hot dog with it, and a beer, or a Coke. Maybe not a beer. And also this week in the Elijah, you're going to get a survey because Stella is putting a retreat together at camp. It's going to be a Sukkot weekend retreat. It's going to be, well, we're not sure. It's either going to be Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, or it's going to be one day, or we don't know what it's going to be. That's why we need the survey. We've had quite a bit of interest, and we're going to be doing it with what's Rabbi Mallinger's congregation? Temple Shalom in Aberdeen with Rabbi Mallinger. Okay. And Paul, next week I'm going to open the concession to sell really good sunglasses. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, yeah. Was it bad? The sun is kind of bright. It's going down now. Yeah, you move around, right? Exactly. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do the motzi. I love the birds singing. Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in song together as a joyful prayer is sent. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. I was going to say, let me get the mic.
Oh, also for next week, we haven't done this in a while. We're having an ufra.
We're having a what?
An ufra next week.
Oh, we're having an
For
offer.
Jonathan and Holly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So the oneg is inside, and it's another beautiful oneg by Patio. Masks are optional inside if you want.